Welcome to the Summit City, home to the 260's dedicated high school athletes and fans. Each victory and celebration captured by our cameras. Treasure the highlights from the Summit Athletic Conference this season, or complete games live or on demand. After all, nobody's more proud to call Fort Wayne home than SummitCitySports.com.
The athletes has always been here, and they're getting better. I'm watching, Summit City Sports, man, they're doing an awesome job. And, that's a plug. Them dudes are doing an outstanding job. And I'm able to be in Nashville and watch games on YouTube that they're broadcasting, and I'm seeing the talent. And it is just truly outstanding. And, you guys have seen the talent that's in the NFL now from Fort Wayne, Indiana, the talent that's coming up now, and the talent that, is just here, man. It's really cool.
Developed for athletes of all sports, PSM's Edge training program is a personalized, high-intensity experience designed to help you outperform the competition. Whether you're looking to enhance your speed, strength, power, agility, or overall fitness, our expert training staff will build a program that adapts to your schedule while maximizing your overall performance. Now accepting athletes 12 years old and up. Get started today. Schedule your free evaluation at psmsports.com/edge.
I started playing football when I was 4 years old in the Cub Football League at Leo. My freshman year of high school, I really started to notice that there was something different about how I played compared to what some other people were playing like. So then I started to develop more. I started to see the results, and then being able to go to Iowa was a big opportunity for me. Being able to train here at PSM has really given me an edge over my competitors. Working on my speed, that's the name of the game nowadays, is who's the fastest guy on the field. Being able to put my body in different positions to allow me to be in the best position during the game is so important to not take those days off and just get into a place like PSM where they have flexible hours, and it's good for college athletes to come in and just train.
Anderson Heating and Air, locally owned and operated with over 50 years of experience. Call us today and get a free quote on a brand new furnace and AC, financed and available. Don't wait. Call us today and sign up for a maintenance agreement and stay cool. Our maintenance agreements will ensure that you're first in line if you have an emergency, and we'll send one of our service techs out for cleanings twice a year. Call us at 557-0958 or request an appointment on our website. Call Anderson Heating and Air, where your emergency is our emergency.
Game day, the moment athletes live for, the intensity, the passion, the unforgettable plays. And while you focus on the game, Watermark Sports Photo captures the memories. From the heart-pounding action to the game-winning score, our game day photos make your athlete the star. But we don't stop at game day. With our Sportrait sessions, together we dream up poses and take your athlete's story to the next level. Serving Northeast Indiana and Northwest Ohio, from colleges to high schools and club sports, moments fade, but the memories last forever. Watermark Sports Photo, where every shot is legendary.
At PSM Sports Therapy, recovery is more than getting you back to your sport. It's about building a stronger version of you. Our team of experts uses state-of-the-art technology to build personalized care plans that get you healthy and back in action safely. With no physician order needed, contact us directly to receive top-quality care exactly when you need it. Call 260-266-4007. Visit one of our Fort Wayne locations or go to psmsports.com to learn more.
The future is what you make it, so make it matter. At the University of St. Francis, we'll help you build a purposeful life, one based on your interests, goals, and desire to make the world a better place. Learning is personal here. You'll be known by name, supported by experts, and connected to professional opportunities. Our Catholic values will inspire you to use your education for the greater good by serving and leading others. Remember, the future is what you make it. Build a life of meaning and purpose at St. Francis. You belong here.
Tired of waiting for a doctor's referral to start physical therapy? At Indiana Physical Therapy, you don't need a prescription. You have the power to choose where you go for expert care. Our experienced therapists will help you get back to doing what you love. With over 19 locations, getting the care you need has never been easier. Take the first step towards a healthier, more active lifestyle. Visit IndianaPT.com to schedule your appointment today.
Indiana Physical Therapy, where people gonna get better.
Here, every athlete is one of one. Every day is an opportunity to improve, to become faster, stronger, healthier. That's our commitment. With elite training and expert care, we transform athletes by pushing through challenges and sharing every victory. PSN, you've got goals. We help you get there. Learn more at psmsports.com.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Boys and Girls Club of Fort Wayne, Indiana, here in South Fort Wayne, Indiana, fairly close to Southside High School. I'm Thad Goff calling your play-by-play. Gavin Wirt is running the camera, and we will be joined by Zach Welklin on color tonight. And the first game of this MVP basketball tournament for today is Norwell versus St. Vincent, and we got a spot in the Final Four on the line. In fact, both of the games that we're featuring tonight, the winners will punch their ticket to the MVP Final Four, which will be tomorrow night. And I believe the winner of this game gets Maple Creek tomorrow, and the winner of our next game gets Memorial Park tomorrow. Two really good programs going up against some other really good programs. We're going to find out which program it will be tonight. The first game is between Norwell and St. Vincent. And then our next game will be between Leo and Blackhawk. That's Blackhawk Middle School, part of the Fort Wayne Community Schools District, not to be confused with Blackhawk Christian School. And again, that is later tonight. We'll have more coming your way in just a moment. Right now, I'm going to go to our next break, and we might have some player or coach interviews later on. We'll see what happens. In the meantime, it is time to get back. It's time to get to our next break. Actually, before I do that, I want to give a little recognition tonight. The MVP basketball program partners with the Boys and Girls Clubs of Fort Wayne to provide Fort Wayne's most unique and comprehensive basketball program. Again, we are here at the Boys and Girls Club in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Always a great pleasure to be here. Norwell, of course, coming off that win against Huntington North. That was their game on Wednesday, one of their more recent games, and they had a big lead in that game. Huntington North brought the deficit down just a little bit, but Norwell was able to hold them off. And I'll be back after this break. You're watching MVP Basketball from the Boys and Girls Club on SummitCitySports.com.
Thank you for watching Summit City Sports. To help broaden our coverage, we're asking you to become a monthly sponsor to our Patreon account. We produce weekly highlights and live video broadcasts. When the Homestead Girls Golf Team won its first state title in program history, we were there. When Fort Wayne brought back 3 state titles in cross country, we were there. We believe in sharing positive stories and setting the standard for how high school sports should be covered. Join us and donate today.
Game day, the moment athletes live for, the intensity, the passion, the unforgettable plays. And while you focus on the game, Watermark Sports Photo captures the memories. From the heart-pounding action to the game-winning score, our game day photos make your athlete the star. But we don't stop at game day. With our Sportrait sessions, together we dream up poses and take your athlete's story to the next level. Serving Northeast Indiana and Northwest Ohio, from colleges to high schools and club sports, moments fade, but the memories last forever. Watermark Sports Photo, where every shot is legendary.
Welcome back, everybody. And I do have to correct myself because the winner of this game plays against Memorial Park. This is St. Vincent versus Norwell, so I do have the bracket here in front of me. The winner of this game plays Memorial Park, and the winner of Blackhawk versus Leo plays Maple Creek. Yeah, Norwell, their most recent game was against Huntington and their 7th grade team. So they come into this game with a good amount of days of rest under their shoulders, or under their on their shoulders, I should say, as Zach Welklin's just about to join me. He'll be the color commentator for this game, as he has for, well, a number of MVP basketball games. Zach, thanks for joining me, and this should be a fun game tonight. Norwell, they came off of that win against Huntington and their 7th grade team. It was a close win, but it was a game where Norwell jumped out to the big lead early on. They had to hold on for the win.
Yeah, we're really in for a treat because we got 2 great programs that historically always bring a very good product to the MVP event with St. Vincent's and Norwell. I'm really excited to see how these two teams match up. Norwell traditionally is a very disciplined team that can shoot from the perimeter, very sound defensively. Some years they have size, other years they're more guard-oriented. This group doesn't look to be super tall for Norwell, but that's never an issue for them as they find other ways to be efficient. I don't know too much about the St. Vincent group, but it looks like they've had a really good season, so I'm excited to see what's in store.
Yeah, most recently they beat South Unity, part of one of the Lutheran schools in the area, and I believe South Unity is actually a Lutheran school that's connected with 3 Lutheran churches in the area: Mount Calvary, Bethlehem, and Peace Lutheran, all in South Fort Wayne. But St. Vincent was able to win that game. That's their most recent victory. I know St. Vincent has been a part of MVP basketball in the Hoosier Gym game 2 years ago when they were defeated by St. Paul Lutheran from downtown Fort Wayne. But some of the last names here might be familiar to folks. And again, I'm not sure if this is a relation to any players in the area, but Braden McAfoose, I think he's had some good plays over the MVP season so far. He might be related, I'm not sure, to Connor McAfoose, who I know plays goalie for the Bishop Dwenger soccer team. So there might be a relation there, I'm not sure. You probably heard the name Wurgis around these parts, especially if you follow Homestead baseball. They've got Zane Wurgis, a really good ball player for them. St. Vincent has Crew Wurgis. Again, I'm not sure if there is a relation there, but it's some names that you're probably familiar with here in this area. I think the announcement I just got from Mitch Sturm was that Tate Griffin is the one who's out. It said Griffin, so I think that's a reference to Tate Griffin from St. Vincent. And I think we're still getting some key information about to be given to us, so I'll go to our next break. You are watching MVP basketball on SummitCitySports.com live from the Boys and Girls Club of Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Anderson Heating and Air, locally owned and operated with over 50 years of experience. Call us today and get a free quote on a brand new furnace and AC, financed and available. Don't wait. Call us today and sign up for a maintenance agreement and stay cool. Our maintenance agreements will ensure that you're first in line if you have an emergency, and we'll send one of our service techs out for cleanings twice a year. Call us at 557-0958 or request an appointment on our website. Call Anderson Heating and Air, where your emergency is our emergency.
Tired of waiting for a doctor's referral to start physical therapy? At Indiana Physical Therapy, you don't need a prescription. You have the power to choose where you go for expert care. Our experienced therapists will help you get back to doing what you love. With over 19 locations, getting the care you need has never been easier. Take the first step towards a healthier, more active lifestyle. Visit IndianaPT.com to schedule your appointment today.
Indiana Physical Therapy, where people gonna get better.
Well, welcome back to the Boys and Girls Club of Fort Wayne, Indiana. And, of course, we do have a sponsor to thank tonight, and that's the good folks at Midwest America Federal Credit Union. Midwest America Federal Credit Union is excited to partner with the Boys and Girls Club's MVP basketball program. The opportunity to improve the lives of their neighbors inspires every move they make. They invite everyone to download their Zogo app, which provides financial education and principles for all ages. Users can earn gift cards for completing financial lessons. For more information on Midwest America's Zogo program, visit their website at midwestamerica.org or stop by any of their 15 area branches. I beg your pardon. So 15 area branches for Midwest America Federal Credit Union. And, of course, it's because of Midwest America Federal Credit Union that this MVP basketball program is possible. Now, we often look at feeder schools, and there are a lot of feeder schools to different, especially the public schools. Norwell is, of course, Norwell Middle School, connected with Norwell High School over in Ossian. So most of these kids, you would think, probably will be going on to play at Norwell High School. And, one thing about Norwell is, they've struggled the last few years, but you can also say about Norwell, they are very well coached. Mike McBride has had some really good programs over there for the Knights.
He absolutely has, and he's been fortunate enough to have sons that can hoop a little bit, so that's always nice when you got your own sons to play for you. But like you said, Norwell's always very disciplined, even in a year where they may not have the most talent for Norwell standards, because it's like anything. High school basketball, it comes and flows. Every class is different. Some years you get maybe back-to-back groups that are really talented. Other years you might get a group that's not as naturally talented, but they're a high IQ group. Some years you just don't get that much talent. But as a high school coach, you got to coach up what you get. And one thing Norwell does is they really do a good job controlling the intangibles. They have their system down. Their kids are typically, even if they're not the quickest or the tallest in some years, very skilled, can shoot the ball very well, very high IQ. They space the ball well. They always put a good, clean product on the court. So that's one thing that you can almost guarantee every time you watch Norwell. They're going to play ball in a very efficient fashion.
Well, one thing about Norwell, one player to watch out for them is Wes Daffor, and he had 11 points in Norwell's game against Huntington. Now, that was all in the first quarter, but what we saw from Wes Daffor was he could step out and shoot from beyond the arc. He hit 3 threes in that ball game.
Well, that's going to be key for St. Vincent then, understanding where shooters are at, locating them, and it sounds so simple, but one thing I've seen in this event, a lot of times kids at this level, when they're closing out on a shooter, they don't get their hand up, and it's almost pointless to close out if you're not going to try and contest. And sometimes it's fatigue. Other times it's just that habit's not been ingrained in them. But that little habit of closing out with a hand up is huge, especially on shooters. So that's one thing to know.
And, of course, one player who's back tonight who was not healthy in the Huntington game is Blake Feast. Now, that's a last name that's probably familiar to anyone who's familiar with Norwell basketball. You may remember Mackenzie Feast, who was a great player on the girls' basketball team just a couple of years ago on Eric Thornton's squad, made it to a state championship, and she was one of the top scorers. Now, that was the year that they made it but did not win. That was not 2 years ago when Norwell did win. It was, at this point, well, it was 2 years ago when they did not win. It was not last year when they did win. However, Mackenzie Feast was a great talent, and if Blake Feast is any bit as good as his sister, I got to think that that could be a big spark for these Knights.
Oh, no question. And nothing but credit to the Norwell girls program. What a run. 3 years in a row going to state. And if you watch that game as a fan this year against Center Grove, they were in that game and led most of it from what I had saw and had every chance to win that game. And we got to remember, they're not even near the enrollment due to success factor. They played up. Center Grove is a much bigger school, and Norwell held their own. And who was the girl? I know I should know this. She was a candidate for Miss Basketball. She played unreal for Norwell.
That's probably Vanessa Rossworm.
Yes, Vanessa Rossworm.
Yeah.
And then
she's had a great season. Macy Salfrank has had a great season. Those are the two leading scorers for Norwell.
Yes, and just you could tell with, again, that group had such good chemistry watching them. They all knew everyone's second step. Their vision on the passing and just their cohesiveness in that zone was incredible.
Well, we talked a little bit about Norwell. We'll talk a little bit about St. Vincent as we have a chance to do so right now. St. Vincent, of course, is one of the Catholic middle schools here in Fort Wayne, Indiana. And, one of the beauty of going to a private school is you're not necessarily zoned for that private school. So kids that go to St. Vincent, they could end up going to Bishop Dwenger. They could end up going to Bishop Luers. They could end up going to Carroll. Proximity-wise, Carroll's fairly close to St. Vincent. Could end up going to Northrop. That's fairly close to St. Vincent as well. Or depending on where they live, they may go to one of the other public schools, or then there's also the option of Concordia or Blackhawk Christian School. So these kids from St. Vincent, they may be going their separate ways, but if they do go their separate ways, they'll be able to look back and say, you know what, that kid who's now playing at Bishop Luers, we were teammates together at St. Vincent. and I know what he's like. So you learn what each other is all about when you play together in middle school, and then sometimes you take that to the high school level.
Yeah, no question. And St. Vincent's and St. Charles are the two biggest of the CYO in terms of enrollment. So most given years, they always have a good amount of talent, and those are both very respected programs who are both competing in this event that always put a good product on the floor. And like you said, most kids from St. Vincent's do end up at Bishop Dwenger. Here and there, you might get a kid at a Carroll or a Lures, or like you said, potentially like a Leo or a Northrop. But I would say St. Vincent's, pretty much you're going to guarantee almost all those kids will end up at Dwenger. And normally they've got a great group, and so I'm sure the Bishop Dwenger Saints and their staff have watched them and have some good relationships and are very excited for what we have coming up in the future for the Saints.
Now, we do have the starters for both teams. I'll go ahead and give those to you. Here's the starters for St. Vincent. James Rondot is one of the starters, along with Noah Burnworth. Braden McAfoos is the third starter. Joseph Miller is the fourth starter, and Will Frazier is the fifth starter. And we were told by Mitch Sturm that Tate Griffin apparently is out for this game. Did say he was going to introduce him, but I believe what he said was that Tate Griffin was the one who's out. Now, Norwell's got a few guys who are out today. Paxton Frisch not available. Gabe Gerber not available. Clark Evans is also not available. But the starters for the Knights are Oakley Bryant, Wes Dafford, Jace Reinhardt, Weston Harris, and Blake Feast. So we've got the starting five for these two teams. And now that I've given you that information, I'll go ahead and give you our last reader, although we'll probably get some of these readers later on in the game. Special thanks to Boys and Girls Club President Joe Jordan for supporting the MVP basketball program and providing all these kids a great opportunity to showcase their skills on the court and help them grow as young adults off the court. I will say that Joe Jordan was here on Wednesday night when Norwell took on Huntington North, and I believe he stuck around for the better part of the second game of that evening. I've not seen him yet tonight. I imagine he'll probably make his way over here at some point. That is, if he wants to come and watch.
Oh, yeah. Joe does a really good job. Again, I know you just read that, and we are so appreciative of Midwest America and Joe Jordan and the Boys and Girls Club, Summit City Sports, Mitch Sturm for all the work he does behind the scenes. It takes a lot of people. It's a lot of moving parts, but at the end of the day, it's all for the kids. It's all for putting them on a platform where they can really be seen and also have a fun experience. When I say seen, just how fun is it that they get the opportunity to have their clips and their highlights posted on Summit City Sports, on Twitter, Instagram. As a kid, especially in this era, they love that. They live for that. And I can think of my era. I'm not that old, but I'm 34. We didn't have any of these type of things. So this is super cool that we have enough adults and programs and corporations in the city that want to make this experience as fun as possible for the kids. So thank you, Mitch, for making all this happen.
Absolutely. And the winner of this game does play Memorial Park, and that game against Memorial Park will be tomorrow night in the Final Four. Memorial Park's going to be a tough draw for whoever wins this game, but right now the focus for both Norwell and St. Vincent is to move on and win this game that's ahead of them.
Yeah, no question. I fortunately was able to have that game on call with Tim Atkinson, and he always does such a good job and makes the game exciting. He's one of the many guys through Summit City that we are very privileged to have in our area. As we're going to take a quick news information break. Okay, so sorry, we were just taking some information there from Mitch Sturman. It was a little bit about Memorial Park, but going back to what we were saying with Memorial Park, they are extremely deep, extremely talented, very quick, very skilled, very lengthy. There's really not a weakness on that team. So from what I've seen, they have been tested. There have been teams that have came and battled against them, but throughout the full course of the game, I have not seen a team that's been able to hang like even within truly 8 to 10 points of them when they really got it going. And not to make teams feel bad, but one of their starters, who's a 7th grader, Khalil Taylor, hasn't even played, and he's a really good player for them. So Memorial Park is going to be a tough out, but like anything, it's March. There's madness. Anyone can lose. But I would say the thing my leaving thoughts with Memorial Park is good luck to whoever has to cover Jace Brooks, because he is an absolute specimen, He plays like a point guard, has the size of a power forward, the IQ of a coach. I mean, he can hit a pull-up mid-range pretty consistently. He can get to the basket whenever he wants. He's very unselfish. If he catches it sealed in the block, good luck. I mean, he's just a problem. And so any team playing him, you got a game plan around him. And then, they got Braylon McKinney. They've got lots of other pieces. It's just they are a headache if you're another team game planning for Memorial Park. And I say all this, their coach is probably like, whatever, we're not that good. Don't let them get their heads too big. But they are. They are really good, and they are the best team I've seen personally in middle school this year. That doesn't mean they can't be beat. Doesn't mean they're perfect. But Memorial Park is a team you definitely want to watch.
Yeah, and of course the winner of this game gets Memorial Park. This is part of the March Middle School Madness Tournament. Again, winner goes to the Final Four, and the winner of our next game between Blackhawk and Leo will take on Maple Creek. And Maple Creek seems like they've been a staple of MVP basketball for quite a while. So whether they get Leo or Blackhawk Middle School, either one of those teams is going to have a tough draw.
Yeah, no question. And then after this game, I believe we have Blackhawk and Leo, correct?
That's right, yeah. The winner of that game gets Maple Creek.
Yes, okay. Lots of good teams. It's been a fun tournament. Like I said, as good as Memorial Park is, that's what's fun about March. Anyone on any given night, they don't come prepared. They don't come and play their best game. They're liable to take a loss. And from what we've seen, there's plenty of talent in this tournament, and I believe all teams are capable of getting it done if they really play their best.
Well, we've got just a minute and a half before we get started with this first game of our doubleheader here at the MVP March Middle School Madness Tournament. I'll be back in 40 seconds. We'll be back in 40 seconds as we get ready to start this game. You're watching the MVP March Middle School Madness Tournament here on SummitCitySports.com.
Just a little bit to turn my mind down just a little bit, the voice.
I can turn it down with this knob.
Just a little. Testing.
I hear you. Is that better?
Yeah, that's perfect. If it's too soft, you can turn it up a little. It was just a little bit loud.
All right.
But tell me if.
Game day, the moment athletes live for, the intensity, the passion, the unforgettable plays. And while you focus on the game, Watermark Sports Photo captures the memories. From the heart-pounding action to the game-winning score, our game day photos make your athlete the star. But we don't stop at game day. With our Sportrait sessions together, we dream up poses and take your athlete's story to the next level. Serving Northeast Indiana and Northwest Ohio, from colleges to high schools and club sports, moments fade, but the memories last forever. Watermark Sports Photo, where every shot is legendary.
Number 5, Wes Gafford. Number 13, Weston Harris. Number 4, Jace Reinhardt. And number 25, Blake Fuse. Number 10, I'm sorry, we got a number change. Number 10. Norwell's coached by Dylan Miller. Now your starting lineup for the St. Vincent Panthers. Number 4, James Rondo. Number 11, Noah Burnworth. Number 13, Braden McAfee. Number 24, Joseph Miller. And number 30, Will Frazier. Injured, unable to play the Knights, number 22, Tate Griffin.
Yeah, so there's the announcement.
Coached by Shane Burnworth, Kevin Miller, and Mitch McAfee. Our officials are Marvin Patterson, Greg Mose, and Ike Drake.
Looks like we're just about ready for basketball. The MVP Middle School Madness Tournament. They do play 4 7-minute quarters here in MVP basketball, the same length of a typical middle school game. St. Vincent will start with the ball. Taken away, and that is Jace Reinhardt with a steal. Back come the Knights the other way. No good, but a foul.
Foul play.
That's going to send, thought that looked like number 12, Oakley Bryant.
Well, in these type of games, it's always fun when you see teams get after it really early. It looks like we're going to have fast-paced game with a lot of transition and guys getting active defensively. Free throws could end up being really big for both teams, so those are always the gimmies, but at any level, they don't come easy.
Oakley Bryant with that first free throw. There's 2 Oakleys on this Norwell team. Knights do lead it 2-0 early on in this one as St. Vincent takes over. Joseph Miller, the kick out. Rondot misses the 3 ball. And now Norwell will come the other way. Jace Reinhard finds Dafford. He'll fire, and Dafford's on the board already.
Yeah, and you could tell Norwell's really looking to push the ball in transition, but at the same time they space the floor well, looking to kick it out to shooters. You like to see that.
Wes Dafford had 3 threes in Norwell's last game, but there's an answer from St. Vincent. That is Braden McAfoose.
It's good touch with the left hand off the glass. And again, they are using a different ball than normal. Normally, we're used to seeing the evolutions. This is an MVP basketball, so it does bounce a little bit different as we see Norwell with the travel there. The ball does bounce a little bit different than the evolutions, and so it's a little bit of an adjustment. But if you notice, that is a unique ball that's only used by Mitch through MVP events.
Our officials, by the way, are Marvin Patterson, Greg Mose, and Ike Drake. It was Marvin Patterson that made that last call. That was a tough angle. Miller couldn't finish. But St. Vincent will keep the ball. The St. Vincent Panthers. And that's Noah Burnworth. I got to think that's probably the son of head coach Shane Burnworth. 3 ball is good, and it's Burnworth.
It was a good-looking shot there. He caught that, had no hesitation. Quick release. That looked pretty.
Reinhardt handling for Norwell. They go back outside to Blake Feast. Feast is short on his 3 ball, and Joseph Miller wins that rebound attempt. Joseph Miller on the drive, falling away, wouldn't crawl home, ripped away, and the putback won't fall. That was Will Frazier, and we've got a foul. I think they said number 10, which would be Blake Feast. Greg Mose making the call there. And that one finally drops in for Joseph Miller to give St. Vincent the lead. Second one also crawls home.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to watch Norwell and see what they try to get into offensively and see what they're really looking to get into, what action they have, and who they're really targeting as far as their offensive looks.
Oakley Bryant dishes out to the corner. That is Dafford. Bryant wanted the 3. Seems like St. Vincent has the size advantage, and there's some good hustle. Joseph Miller coming away with a takeaway, and here come the Panthers.
Absolutely. St. Vincent's is really looking off their good defense.
Rondot off the glass.
How about that? If you watch, St. Vincent's is very active defensively off the ball. They're very good with any action, seeing where it's going and not losing the ball or their man, but then any opportunity to capitalize, they're looking to go in transition.
By the way, I think that's pronounced Rondo, if I'm not mistaken.
Not a bad last name to have.
Yeah, silent T, almost like Rajon Rondo, who once played for the Boston Celtics, says that's Jace Reinhard going for the takeaway. And did he just get the ball back for Norwell? No, a foul. We got a foul called there. That was Marvin Patterson making the call.
Marvin, one of the main MVP people that we love. He's at a lot of the events and not only officiating, working.
Dafford! 2 triples already.
Boy, he is looking to catch and fire. You got to know where he's at. Now, luckily, he's not the tallest, so you got to get a hand up and contest that.
Outside to Rondo. Loose ball. Wes Dafford already 2 3 balls in this game. 6 points total. Got off to a hot start against Huntington and their 7th grade team on Wednesday. That is Oakley Moser, who will check into the game for Norwell.
Yeah, both teams mirroring each other, very similar. They both play very scrappy. Both have the ability to shoot from deep right there. As
Miller from downtown.
How about that? He found his spot. He knew exactly where he wanted to release that.
Harris dishes it outside. I think that's Joseph Miller's first three of this ball game. Tough shot, won't go, but a foul. And Weston Harris is going to make a trip to the free throw line.
Yeah, he did a good job of getting downhill, and even though the help was there to rotate over, it was too late. He was coming down quick, and he forced them to make that call. I like that drive.
He just got it. So Weston Harris on the board for the first time today. Did not get the second. Offensive board, putback won't go. Give credit to Reinhard. Came in to try and give him a second chance, but to no avail, but Norwell does get the stop. Here comes Moser the other way. To the corner. That's Blake Feast. He'll try again. Short.
Boy, I'm telling you what, Norwell is active trying to get those second chance points. They are all over the offensive rebounds.
And try as he might, Wes Dafford could not secure the board, and he knocks it out of bounds. St. Vincent will get a sub to the scorer's table. That's Logan Keister. And Joseph Miller will handle for the Panthers. He hands to McAfoose. Loose ball poked away by Harris. And back the other way comes Reinhard. Reinhard through traffic, weaving around. He scores.
How about that? Again, had good agility on that move without landing off balance and had good touch off the glass. Nice move.
Jace Reinhard, his first bucket from the field in this game. And Norwell gets it down to a 1-point game. We've got a good one so far. It was indeed, and that's McAfoose who puts it in.
You cannot fall asleep defensively against the St. Vincent team. They will make you pay.
Reinhard coming the other way. Reinhard finds his man. That's Dafford. Wes Dafford. He's going to fire again. Fouled on the three.
Yeah, and you can tell he knows he messed up there. That's one of those where you just got to let him land. Good intentions, just got to know your body positioning.
That's going to be on Noah Burnworth. So Wes Dafford goes to the free throw line. His first trip there. That is a friendly roll on that first free throw.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of shooters touch on the free throws in this game early. It's going in the right way. We've seen a lot also where that ball just can't find a way in. Sometimes, again, I'm not using the ball as an excuse, but that ball has a lot of bounce on it. Sometimes it is not the most generous with the rim.
One more free throw coming for Dafford after the three-point attempt. And now Logan Keister does come into the game. 3 for 3 is Dafford, and we got a tie ball game. Nolan Hitzfield will check in for Norwell. That was Reinhard who nearly got a takeaway. Look at McAfoose going quick.
Man, he really looks to push the issue in transition, but he does a good job of staying low. Great kick out right there.
Keister able to rattle it home.
Tell you what, both teams have no problem sharing the sugar and getting all their teammates involved. This is fun to watch.
Keister's on the board for the first time. Moser traveling. That was Ike Drake there to make the call. Oakley Bryant will re-enter. So far, Joseph Miller having a pretty good game. I've got him for unofficially 5 points.
He's been active. Again, he's good at finding where he needs to be offensively. Wow, that was a deep one.
It sure was. It was Burnworth who shot it to no avail. Moser with the board for Norwell. Chance to tie the game or give Norwell the lead with a three. That pass too tall. Trying to find Hitzfield. And, well, I'll just say this from observation. Hitzfield's not the tallest guy in the world.
No, absolutely not. But, again, that does not take away from his toughness. And maybe it's just me, but do these teams mirror each other pretty similar to you?
I don't know. I think you could say – I'd say St. Vincent has more size on their roster. I think with Norwell, it's more of a combination of your smaller guards and your bigger front court players.
Yeah.
That three ball's a little long from Joseph Miller. Offensive board, swung back out. Here comes Miller. Oh, it won't drop. Jump ball is the call, and the way it works in MVP basketball is the jump balls actually are jump balls.
Yeah. That's one of the cool little quirks to this, just like how, and I'm not saying it'll happen in this game, but we've had a few dunks already this tournament. All dunks are worth 3 points. That's a unique rule as well. And also, every player gets 6 fouls compared to 5.
West Dafford got up there, but St. Vincent comes away with the ball. And here's Frazier on the attack, through the paint. Count it! Will Frazier, a chance at 3.
And there goes to what you were saying about with the size and physicality. That's a great take right there, and he used every bit of muscle.
Frazier short on the free throw, and it's out off of St. Vincent. And Norwell will take over. We've got 35 seconds left this first quarter. Norwell has a chance to hold for the final shot of the quarter. Here's Reinhard. He'll feed it outside to Moser. Reinhard gets a screen from Moser. Swings it. That's Feast. He'll feed it outside to Reinhard. Reinhard gets a screen from Hitzfield. 1 second. Feast just got it off, and it drops. Blake Feast to close out the quarter.
That's a tough shot. Credit to him. One thing St. Vincent's is doing well is really making you earn your offensive looks. That you can tell their goal is to keep their man in front, and their help is ready to go.
All right, we're going to be right back after this break to start the second quarter here on SummitCitySports.com.
Anderson Heating and Air, locally owned and operated with over 50 years of experience. Call us today and get a free quote on a brand new furnace and AC, financed and available. Don't wait. Call us today and sign up for a maintenance agreement and stay cool. Our maintenance agreements will ensure that you're first in line if you have an emergency, and we'll send one of our service techs out for cleanings twice a year. Call us at 557-0958 or request an appointment on our website. Call Anderson Heating and Air, where your emergency is our emergency.
Tired of waiting for a doctor's referral to start physical therapy? At Indiana Physical Therapy, you don't need a prescription. You have the power to choose where you go for expert care. Our experienced therapists will help you get back to doing what you love. With over 19 locations, getting the care you need has never been easier. Take the first step towards a healthier, more active lifestyle. Visit IndianaPT.com to schedule your appointment today.
Indiana Physical Therapy, where people go to get better.
Well, as we start the second quarter, I'm going to go ahead and show you one of our latest replays. These replays are brought to you by Anderson Heating and Air Conditioning. Blake Feast, what a great shot that was as we close out the first quarter, and he just barely got that thing off.
Well, going into the second quarter, again, we want to make sure we give our thanks to Mitch Sturm, MVP basketball, Boys and Girls Club, especially Joe Jordan, all he does. Again, we saw him here earlier. He always does a great job of being present and interacting with everyone and really appreciating the events and supporting the kids as well as Midwest America. None of this happens without all those pieces together working for the betterment of our youth and just promoting the greater 260 area and all the fun basketball opportunities and showcases that MVP basketball provides. So, again, thanks to all those moving parts. And Mitch Sturm, we appreciate you.
Here is Oakley Bryant coming into the paint. Battles for the ball, and we've got a foul. I think they're going to call that on Noah Burnworth. That's either 2 or 3 fouls on Burnworth at this point.
Okay. I believe that is 2.
They get it in. That's Moser. He'll go back over to Mason Vendall. Oh, Dafford's open. Had to set his feet. Missed the 3, but kept alive by Moser. That shot won't fall, but Moser is fouled.
That was a situation where he capitalized on nobody really blocking him out, and you could see there was just kind of a lot of standing there, and he just went straight up and got it. So for both teams, you're going to have to locate a body and block out because both teams are very active on the boards trying to get those second chance points. And Tim and I talked about that at all levels. A lot of kids fail to prioritize hitting, locating on the block out instead of just trying to jump, and this isn't volleyball. You're not going to out-jump everyone, so you got to block out and find a body.
Joseph Miller trying to go through traffic, but loses the handle. Here comes Weston Harris for Norwell. Bryant trying to find his shot, got it off, but couldn't finish. That's Crew Wurgis who ultimately gets the board. McAfoose the other way, had it knocked away, and that's going back to Norwell.
Boy, I tell you what, McAfoose does a good job for St. Vincent's, really pushing the issue and getting it out in transition. You got to locate where he's at and get back, or he's going to get a lay-in every time. I like his energy.
Well, here is Wes Dafford. Wes Dafford on the drive. He'll kick it. And the three comes up short. That's from Harris. Stepping out of bounds is Keister, and that'll go back to Norwell.
Norwell really likes those corner threes. When they drive and they get to that elbow area, they really look to kick it out, which I can appreciate, always looking for your shooters. The drive and kick action has been great.
Here's Bryant running the point for the Knights. He'll get the screen. That's Moser. And now Dafford's got it. Blocked! Joseph Miller. And St. Vincent comes the other way, and that's Miller who puts it home.
Look at that. Not only a great defensive action there, getting the block, but getting back in transition, looking for a quick leak out. Love it.
St. Vincent now up 20-16. Here's Oakley Moser. Wants to go to the spin move. That's a good job defensively by Logan Keister. And Miller right there for the board. Miller working his way around traffic. Fires across the paint, but the shot doesn't go.
That was a great find. Really drew the defenders on him and was able to throw a tough pass and find the exact spot where he needed on that block.
I think he found Burnworth, but Burnworth just couldn't get the bucket.
Maybe in a few years that'll be a dunk.
Who knows? Yeah, sometimes kids will shoot up just enough inches to where they can dunk the basketball in just a couple of years. And just 2 years ago, Chance DeRossett was playing middle school ball for St. Paul Lutheran, and nowadays he's 6'5".
Absolutely. I played with a kid at St. Francis in middle school, and he was not the tallest and ended up shooting up to be about 6'6", 6'7". So
oh, boy, that was close.
It happens.
Joseph Miller was barely across that timeline. The three won't fall. Good work on the boards.
Oh, what a save.
Just kept alive by McAfoose. Caswell for three. Max Caswell, no good. And I think that's Bryant who pulls it down. Oakley Bryant. Well, we've seen Dafford set his feet and shoot, but he was way away from the basket that time. Bryant gets the feed on the outside. Bryant working his way through traffic. Too strong. Max Caswell right there for the board. Here comes Miller. Miller 1-on-2. Wave it off. Offensive foul. The St. Vincent bench says no way, but Ike Drake calls the offensive foul.
Yeah, the St. Vincent's coaching staff is not happy right now with that call. You love the aggression with him trying to get downhill and not avoid body contact, but the official saw something he didn't like. He thinks he extended that arm a little too much.
Reinhardt on the attack, finds his man. That's Feast for three. Blake Feast from downtown.
That's a guy with a little more height for Norwell that can still shoot from the perimeter. Again, another guy you're going to have to find and contest.
Feast's second field goal of the game, his first three. As Miller looks for help on the inside, he'll go outside instead. McAfoose, loose ball. Picked up by the Knights. That is Feast. He has it poked away. And I think Norwell touched it last, or did they? I think Ike Drake is saying that this was out of bounds off St. Vincent. Well, he was closer to the play than I was. He's closer to the play than both of us are.
We'll give him the credit on there. But That's a situation, too, where I love that he's looking to push the issue in transition, but you can't dribble through all those guys. You're going to have to give that up with the pass.
Oh, nice move. Nice couple of moves by Dafford. Couldn't get his shot off.
Look at that kick out.
Reinhardt short on the three, but there's Feast. Johnny on the spot, long on the jumper, and that's going to St. Vincent.
I really love the unselfish tendencies of Norwell. I mean, they're looking to drive hard downhill, but then they do a good job gathering on 2 feet and kicking out to those shooters. But credit to the shooters because they're already looking to, in spot-up form, looking to shoot. A lot of times you'll get guys that are open, they're not even ready to shoot.
Joseph Miller across the timeline. He'll find McAfoose. And the name McAfoose is certainly a familiar one in the Fort Wayne area, especially if you follow Bishop Dwenger soccer. Their goalie is Connor McAfoose. And there's Braden. His shot doesn't fall, but Frazier's right there. Count the basket.
Just bodies down there, just active. They're relentless. St. Vincent's doing a great job on the offensive glass.
That's the first team foul. And Frazier will shoot one.
And we've seen both teams have hit free throws. I'm not sure of the exact percentages, but I've seen more go in than not. And again, in this event, it's an all-star event. Well, not an all-star event. It's a middle school tournament event, but it seems like an all-star event. Sometimes free throws are hard to come by.
Well, I've got Will Frazier for 3 points, though he may have had more than that at this point. Seems like he's had a couple buckets already. But anyway, here come the Knights. Moser, count it! And Moser's going to the line.
Yep, neither team afraid of contact. Neither team, when they attack, looks to be bailed out with a call. They go in assuming there is no call, looking to finish. A lot of times you'll see at this level, guys drive in, and they almost fall, hoping that the refs will bail them out, and these guys are looking to finish no matter who comes or what contact is made.
Free throw's good, and by the way it works in MVP basketball, that is the 15th foul on St. Vincent. The way it works in MVP basketball is there's no double bonus. When you get to 5 fouls, it's 1-1 the rest of the way. As Mitch Sturm often puts it, you want to win, you got to make your free throws. Caswell in traffic, he lost it. He was in a precarious spot. Feast able to make the catch. Throws it through traffic. Good extra pass. Moser the bucket. And the assist to Harris.
And again, you can tell with groups like these, with Norwell, where these kids have probably played together since 3rd grade, and St. Vincent's as a group, they just know where each other's at. Their feel for each other is really impressive.
And what you didn't see because the action was happening so quickly, Jace Reinhardt almost got a takeaway for Norwell. Instead, he knocked it out. So St. Vincent takes over with Norwell leading by 1. Here's McAfoose. He goes outside to Burnworth. Burnworth on the drive. Inside. All just off the iron from Frazier.
St. Vincent's has had quite a few good looks where they just haven't been able to connect, but they're finding where they want to be. How about that?
Reinhardt all the way for 2 and 1.
Incredible touch. Nice English using the glass. That's something you see more and more. Each year we do this. More kids, like regardless of height, when you're not able to get the angle you want, using the touch of the English on the roll and how it bounces off the glass. That's a skill that takes time to get. So when you got a kid in middle school already doing that effectively, it only makes it easier as they get taller for the next level. So that's incredible touch off the glass.
1:35 left in this second quarter, and Reinhardt makes it a 3-point play.
Boy, his form looked perfect on that free throw. Telling you what, we got a lot of good shooters in this game. This is fun.
We sure do, and you have to be a good shooter, or, well, maybe you don't have to, but you almost have to have that quality when you don't have the most size in the gym. Oh, nice takeaway. That's Feast, and Reinhardt was helping him out. Speaking of Reinhardt, here he comes. Feast is there for the board, and a foul.
And that is great recognition from Feast on following the shot, knowing you have the length and the finish may not go in. And when you get that, it allows you to have an easy putback opportunity.
I'd call that an A for effort. That was more of an A+.
Absolutely.
On the part of Feast, but he does not get his free throw. He's got one more. Dylan Miller, the head coach at Norwell, telling Reinhard to slide up. Jonah Ealing has checked in for St. Vincent. 0 for 2. Good work on the glass. Weston Harris. Harris will fire. Short on the 3. Out of bounds.
Got a good crowd here today from both sides, and we even get a little extra support from the Boys and Girls Club. They brought some of their people here supporting the event, so it's always fun to see a good crowd here. And as we start to get closer to the second game, you get a little bit of a mix of all the crowds, and so look forward to a fun, loud atmosphere in this second half.
There's not a lot of bleachers here inside the Boys and Girls Club, but the ones they have, they've filled up more and more since we started.
Yeah.
59.8 seconds left as we got a foul on Norwell.
Yeah, fourth quarter of the first game is always when the crowd is the biggest.
Joseph Miller at the line. A little bit short. Well, Norwell's had the momentum late this second quarter. But St. Vincent has a chance to cut into it at least a little bit, and they don't. Lane violation. And it's on Norwell. They got Harris, I think, for jumping a little too early.
Well, you appreciate the aggressiveness, but you got to be aware.
Well, he takes advantage of his chance, and Joseph Miller gets something out of that trip. Here's Reinhard. Feast puts it on the deck. Feast through the paint, fouled before the shot.
Feast did a good job of contorting his body to where he wanted to go, but also protecting the basketball and keeping it tight. Again, with his length and his ability to get to the basket with his speed and his dribbling ability, he's really using all his skill set to his advantage. Definitely going to be a fun player to watch as he gets older.
Well, the front end of the 1-and-1 goes for Feast. Mitch Sturm was just telling me this is a hack fest.
Well, and, I get what he's saying, but I think it also just really goes to show how fearless both teams are. They're very physical. And
Burnworth.
What a shot there.
Noah Burnworth.
But neither teams are afraid of contact. And I'll take a hack fest where guys are flying to the ball and they're looking to be aggressive and get those rebounds over a game where everybody just stands and watches.
Feast, no good on the 3. There's Burnworth, and time's still on the clock. There's still 22 seconds.
See what they look for here. Coach is calling out a set.
Just got it to Miller. He'll go to the corner for Keister. Miller from the wing, a little bit long, and still 10 seconds on the clock. Now Norwell can get something off. Dylan Miller wants a timeout. It's a 30-second timeout. We will stay with you for this one. And I'll show you our most recent replay brought to you by the folks at Anderson Heating and Air Conditioning. Noah Burnworth, the big make from downtown here, as it seemed like Norwell was kind of pulling away with some momentum. St. Vincent stays right in it, and shots like that can only help.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm curious to see what they draw up here and what kind of shot they're looking for going into half. You never really know, and especially at this level, you might draw something up, but what they actually go out and execute could be totally different.
They got 6.1 seconds, Norwell does, so they certainly have time to create an open look here.
Yeah, they definitely do. And if they do get that shot off within, 4 to 5 seconds, they're aggressive enough, they're going to have time to get maybe a potential putback. And if you're on offense, you got to be aware of that clock and knowing when the shot is taken off, so that way if you need to attack and crash the glass, you can potentially get a tip in or a quick putback. It all depends on what they draw up here.
Nolan Hitzfield to put it in play. Got to get it in, and now he does. That's Reinhard.
All right.
3 seconds.
They're going to take this at the very
Reinhard to the basket. Got it.
How about that?
He took the clock all the way down.
Yep, found his crease like a running back, hit the hole, and he was there. Got to the cup. It's a good finish.
Unofficially, I've got Reinhardt as having 7 points in this game, and I'll get to more of our leading scorers in a little bit. Do have a few orders of business to take care of here. First, got to thank the folks here at MVP Basketball and the Boys and Girls Club. The MVP Basketball program partners with the Boys and Girls Clubs of Fort Wayne to provide Fort Wayne's most unique and comprehensive basketball program. Well, now that I've got a chance, I think the half times are 5 minutes here in these MVP games, so I'll go ahead and I think we got an interview coming, if I'm not mistaken, so I think that's what Mitch Sturm was asking for. So we'll see who comes back here, and right now, while we wait, I'll go ahead and announce the unofficial scoring leaders for this game. Wes Dafford does have 9 points in this ball game so far, so he's currently the leading scorer for Norwell. Jace Reinhardt has 7. Oakley Moser has 6. And Blake Feast with 5. Weston Harris with 3. And again, unofficially for St. Vincent, Joseph Miller has 8. Noah Burnworth has 6. Will Frazier, I've got him for 3 at this point. Logan Keister has 2, and Braden McAfoose also has 2. And it looks like we are going to have an interview guest here shortly. So Elijah Davis is going to join me for an interview. And he's making his way back here. Hopefully he knows which way he's going. So we'll see if he makes his way back here. I'll be back in 40 seconds. You're watching MVP Middle School March Madness on SummitCitySports.com.
Game day, the moment athletes live for, the intensity, the passion, the unforgettable plays, and while you focus on the game, Watermark Sports Photo captures the memories. From the heart-pounding action to the game-winning score, our game day photos make your athlete the star. But we don't stop at game day. With our Sportrait sessions, together we dream up poses and take your athlete's story to the next level. Serving Northeast Indiana and Northwest Ohio, from colleges to high schools and club sports, moments fade, but the memories last forever. Watermark Sports Photo, where every shot is legendary.
Well, it is halftime here at the first game of the MVP Middle School March Madness Tournament. I'm joined by Elijah Davis of Blackhawk Middle School. Elijah, thanks for joining me.
Hi.
Well, Elijah, how much are you enjoying being a part of this MVP basketball tournament?
It means a lot to me, you know. It's just a great event to be in. Yeah.
Well, Blackhawk, they did have, I believe it was a come-from-behind win against Blackhawk Christian. So Blackhawk Middle School beat Blackhawk Christian in come-from-behind fashion. How pleased were you that Blackhawk was able to come away with the win that day?
Very pleased, and I think we did good. You know, I think we did our thing.
You play Leo tonight. How much are you looking forward to that game?
I feel like we could come in with a win, and I feel like we can win. Yeah, I just feel like we can win.
All right, Elijah Davis joining me for a little pregame interview. Elijah, thanks for joining me. We'll let you get back to your team.
All right.
That's Elijah Davis. Zach Welcome wanted to take a picture of Elijah. Yeah, he's got it. He wanted a picture of him with the headset on. Again, that was Elijah Davis from Blackhawk Middle School as they will be taking on Leo later tonight. The winner of that game will move on to play against Maple Creek. Winner of this game will move on to play against Memorial Park in the Final Four. And the Final Four will be tomorrow night. Championship game will take place this coming Wednesday, so just 2 days from now. And meanwhile, I do have another replay worth showing you. It's brought to you by Anderson Heating and Air Conditioning. How about this attack by Jace Reinhardt? Got it off almost at the last possible second.
Absolutely. That was good time management and, again, good patience of what they wanted to get without rushing something up and leaving time on the clock for St. Vincent's. Good execution.
Well, Midwest America Federal Credit Union is excited to partner with the Boys and Girls Club's MVP basketball program. The opportunity to improve the lives of their neighbors inspires every move they make. They invite everyone to download their Zogo app, which provides financial education and principles for all ages. Users can earn gift cards for completing financial lessons. And for more information on Midwest America's Zogo program, visit their website at midwestamerica.org or stop by any of their 15 area branches. As we do thank Midwest America Federal Credit Union as well as the Boys and Girls Club of Fort Wayne, Indiana for allowing us to broadcast, but also allowing us to watch this great basketball game that we've got here.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, none of this is possible without Midwest America and their amazing sponsorship and all they do to give back to our city, our area, and our local youth. So we thank Midwest America for partnering with Mitch, Joe Jordan, the Boys and Girls Club, and MVP Basketball. None of this happens without Summit City Sports as well. I often bring them up, and Tim kind of blushes. But again, Summit City Sports makes this experience so much better and allows these kids to not only see the fun experience, but then have their games clipped. So, Thad, we appreciate the work that you do, not only for this event, but throughout the year in high school sports. So thanks for all the hard work you do, Thad. And Tim, we love you too, Tim.
Yep, Tim will be here tomorrow. As they feed it outside to Dafford. Dafford, good feed inside. That's blocked. And St. Vincent gets the takeaway. Yeah, Dafford didn't score any points in the second half of the game against Huntington, but I do like the unselfishness that he just showed there, as that floater is good on the other end for Burnworth.
Able to get that in. That was a nice little take. Let's see if we can get back here. We got Norwell looking for some action right here, going top of the key, spreading out the perimeter.
8 points for Burnworth.
You know he's looking to score.
There's Dafford from downtown, and he's got it.
I love that they're not willing to settle for just a bad look, but they're willing to take the extra pass and really get everyone involved. But the guys that are catching and shooting are ready. They're in shooter's position. Gotta love it.
Dafford has 12 for this game so far. As Will Frazier dishes, that's James Rondo. High arcer, but he missed it. Kept in play by McAfoose. Miller on the drive. A little long, but there's McAfoose again. Oh, he couldn't finish. And a foul.
We talked about it. St. Vincent's is very active on the boards. They're very physical, but they've just got to finish on those little bunnies around the basket. Going to have to be a little more consistent.
Well, they'll get their free throws here as James Rondo goes to the line. Meanwhile, Josh Raikkonen has walked into the building. He is, of course, the head coach at Snyder High School, but I believe he'll also be coaching the Blackhawk Middle School team throughout this MVP tournament.
Yeah, I believe the head coach, Coach Sarrazin for Blackhawk, who always does a great job and always has good teams, he was not able to coach for this tournament due to other commitments. And again, this is after their school season. So Blackhawk Middle School, the Eagles, not Blackhawk Christian, but they are neighbors. They will be coached by head coach Josh Raikkonen and JV head coach Jordan Betchold. So how cool is that if you're a kid for Blackhawk and you're planning on going to Snyder and you get to play in this event for your future coach? Again, lots of great coaches in this area getting involved with their youth, and not just Coach Raikkonen at Snyder, but again, this is a key phase for all high school coaches as we have some stuff going on.
Yeah, they had a foul called. I think it was on Joseph Miller. The St. Vincent bench doesn't like the call, but it looked to me like the right call there by Ike Drake. Well, I won't repeat what we just said, but it's a word you don't normally expect to hear from a coach of a Catholic team. That's traveling.
All right, let's see if St. Vincent's can readjust here, move on, not allow the emotions of the game to get them upset and just play basketball. Again, Norwell staying home defensively, being in the gaps, not coming out too far on the perimeter, kind of almost forcing St. Vincent's to take some shots.
Burnworth fires from deep. He got it.
And he said, go ahead, tempt me, I'll take that. And he knocked it down. Ooh.
Big collision over there on the far side. And they're going to call the foul on McAfoose. That's 2 fouls this quarter against St. Vincent. And not to take away from that impressive shot that Burnworth just hit, he's got 11 points. 3 triples already as Feast finds his man on the wing. Oakley Moser looks to attack into the paint. Couldn't finish. Reinhard knocks it out.
Out of bounds, St. Vincent basketball.
Of course, we're talking about Josh Raikkonen and him being the head coach at Snyder. What a huge win for the Panthers on Saturday against the Carmel Greyhounds down at Newcastle. Carmel was riding the high of that win against Fishers, and Snyder wins what, at this point, I think you could say is the biggest game on their schedule thus far.
Yeah, that was an incredible game. Oh, what
Another
shot.
3 goes. That's Joseph Miller.
Yes, absolutely. But no, an incredible win, and that was the first time Snyder actually had defeated Carmel in boys basketball, and that was a heck of a game for a school with 1,900 students defeating Carmel, who's got 5,300, and so you get to say you beat the biggest school in the state and the biggest high school gym in the state. So kind of a fun experience for the Panthers and for Fort Wayne, which we have a lot of representatives in the semi-state, if you've noticed.
Yeah, Homestead made it by beating Harrison. I believe Harrison had a really good season, and Homestead beat them by double figures.
Yeah, absolutely. They took care of business. Yeah, New Haven defeated West Lafayette.
Columbia City made it to semi-state.
Correct. And, you know, it was tough seeing Blackhawk Christian against Delta because they were without Bryce Lacrosse and Briggs Pardon. I mean, that alone is close to 40 points a game missing, and they lost by 10. So you have to wonder what that could have been with their 2 big scorers out.
Miller on the attack all the way to the basket.
Tell you what, Miller is going to find the crease, and he's going to attack it. He is not afraid to get to the basket and use the glass.
And one of the problems that Blackhawk Christian had in that regional game is they just struggled to shoot, struggled to score in every way, but no struggles on that shot from West Dafford.
How about that? Dafford is a problem. If you do not locate him, he's going to make you pay.
For West Dafford, I think that's his 4th 3 of this ball game. 30-second timeout taken by Norwell. While they take the timeout, we will stay with you, and I'll show you a look at this replay one more time. West Dafford, not the biggest guy in the world, but he is a sharp shooter. Close out a little bit late. That was Burnworth who tried to close in on him, but just a little bit late. But we've seen plenty of great basketball on both sides in this game. We've seen it from Joseph Miller as well and his 13 points. Here's another look at the replay of his latest bucket. That was just one man attacks with the basketball. Tied at 38 as we've got 3:32 left to go in the third quarter. It will be St. Vincent basketball. Joseph Miller across the timeline for the Panthers. They go back outside to Burnworth. Burnworth trying to go through traffic. Not a lot of space there. Burnworth feeds it. That was Frazier, and that three's blocked by Dafford.
How about that closeout? Now, he did leave his feet a little bit, which can be a gamble, but you know what? It paid off there.
Wes Dafford's been making threes, and he just blocked one. Now sets the screen for Reinhard.
How about
and Dafford, not that time.
I mean, that was a millisecond catch and release. He is looking to get that shot up, so you better know where he's at. I know I've said that a million times, but you don't have more than a second to get a hand up.
Keister, he's guarded by Reinhard. As we've got 2.5 minutes left to play in quarter number 3. Nice move into the paint. Miller in and out. And ripped away by Feast.
Good rebound and way to secure that ball by Feast. You know, a lot of times you get that ball and they can snag it out. He did not allow.
Good look down the floor, but Bryant couldn't finish.
How about that?
Reinhard got it back. And Dafford did not have space that time. Just him putting it on the deck instead of taking the shot was a good decision. He draws the foul there. I think that's Shane Burnworth, the head coach for St. Vincent, who did not like the call. First free throw is good. And right now, Shane Burnworth wants to know who the foul was on. Yeah, it's on Burnworth, Noah Burnworth. Dafford 2 for 2. There was a lot of confusion there, but Dafford does get both of his free throws. And taken away, that's Feast. Feast to the corner. Dafford got it again.
How about that, Dafford?
What a game. 20 points for Dafford. But here come the Panthers and a foul.
Hey, and that was a situation where they kind of got caught up after that good shot, just jogging back, and the Panthers took advantage and got down in transition. That's why you're constantly on to the next play. You can see Coach talking, you got to get back. Got to get back.
Logan Keister to shoot the free throws. A little bit long.
Well, in a game like this, they've done a pretty good job, both teams. The free throws are going to be the difference.
Braden McAfoos comes back in.
Still plenty of time. Lots of tick left in this game. You're going to see different runs up and down. That's how these games have been. We saw Memorial Park in their first game against East Noble came back from down 15. Ended up winning that game in double figures. So
a second chance, but taken away by Oakley Bryant. And now Bryant's in trouble. He finds his twin. I say that loosely. That's Oakley Moser. So the two Oakleys. So that's why I say it that way.
I love it.
Back out to Hitchfield. Reinhard gets the screen from Moser. Catch and shoot for Bryant. Oakley Bryant.
When one shooter comes out, another one comes in. I tried to tell you, that's what they do at Norwell.
All wide open down the baseline, but Keister's shot is blocked. Down the floor, count the basket, Reinhard.
If you watch that replay, his eyes are locked into the target no matter what the contact is. His eyes are locked in.
Boy, the St. Vincent bench is incensed that was called a foul. They're saying he didn't touch him. I'll tell you what, the St. Vincent bench, I mean, coaches are gonna have their opinions and they're gonna voice their opinions, but sometimes you got to be careful in how you do it.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of complaining in this game in front of us. And some of the calls have been a little questionable, but that's going to happen in any game. But at some point, you can't just spend the whole time crying. So hopefully they can lock in, make adjustments, and
Miller's three is short, and that was well played there by Oakley Moser. Just walled his men off and made sure not to touch the ball.
And go back to what you said, just like your emotional state as a coach, it's going to affect your players on the court. So if you're whining and going on and on, your players are going to do the same. So I don't mind a coach, talking to the ref, complaining, but at some point you're going to have to adjust, and you can't let the emotions make the best of you.
Noah Burnworth called for the foul there. Free throw won't go. And here comes St. Vincent the other way. Miller down the floor. Missed it, but he was fouled.
Foul on the shot. Miller will go to the line to shoot two.
That's the third team foul against St. Vincent in this ballgame. Just 35.3 seconds.
Yeah, he did a good job getting downhill, looking to create that contact, but he's going to have to finish these free throws. These are big.
First one short. I want to give an A for effort to Will Frazier there, but that was a dead ball situation.
He was just getting loose, stretching out a little.
In and out, but Frazier fouled on the putback try.
How about that? Unable to connect on free throws, but made up for it with the offensive board. That's, again, like you said, the size and the physicality of St. Vincent's giving them opportunities. Just got to connect.
They've had their troubles from the free throw line here in this ball game. Can Frazier get him off the schneid? Not there. Now the next Norwell foul would put St. Vincent in a 1-and-1 opportunity unless it was a shooting foul. 0 for 2, but another second chance. Step back three, short from Miller, and there goes Feast. 1-on-1, a man right on his shoulder, and that's a foul. And that looked like a pretty good call there on Rondo.
Yeah, he made that easy for the official.
Shane Burnworth specifically telling him you can't grab his shoulder like that. Yeah, that was pretty obvious as he came down the floor.
Yeah, it makes you wonder if there's a lot of football players for St. Vincent's. They're very, very physical, very aggressive. You just got to know when to be physical and when to be aggressive, and there's some times where the self-discipline on grabbing and reaching has to be there.
1 for 2 goes Feast. 22 seconds. I'm sure a lot of the great football players that end up at Bishop Dwenger tend to get their start at, not get their start at St. Vincent, but come to Dwenger from St. Vincent.
Oh, no question.
As Miller looks to drive. Feed it outside to Keister. Burnworth for three. They needed that.
Big shot right there. What an answer. And you need that going into the fourth quarter.
Feast with a little desperation try that doesn't go. That was a big three by Burnworth as we've come to the end of the third quarter. The fourth quarter comes our way next here at the MVP Middle School March Madness Tournament on SummitCitySports.com.
Here, every athlete is one of one. Every day is an opportunity to improve, to become faster, stronger, healthier. That's our commitment. With elite training and expert care, we transform athletes by pushing through challenges and sharing every victory. PSN, you've got goals. We help you get there. Learn more at psmsports.com.
So I tell the truth all the time, ain't got no sympathy for no. I admit, and I'm rich, and I'm lit. Jumping up on stages, I get 200 a kg, but I ain't really the game up we made. Shut they trap down. They see how I made it, I'm the reason they won't rap now. See me out in traffic, make a hater pull his head down. Biggie's OG salute me, a stylist can't even style me. The robbers probably won't get me on hopping out Lamborghinis. The youngest turn in my city, they try me, I get it cracked. Some of this still would happen if I never started rapping. My people don't.
We're back here getting ready for the start of quarter number 4. Again, our next game is between Blackhawk and Leo. That's Blackhawk Middle School, not to be confused with Blackhawk Christian. But we've got one more quarter to play between Norwell and St. Vincent, and a good time to give you a reminder that we give special thanks to Boys and Girls Club President Joe Jordan for supporting the MVP basketball program in providing all of these kids a great opportunity to showcase their skills on the court and help them grow off of the court. And, of course, at MVP basketball, they always have an actual tip-off at the beginning of each quarter. No alternating possession. And ultimately, this tip is won by the Knights of Norwell. Oakley Bryant comes away with it. Hits field, kicks it out. Stepping into a three is Feast, and it's off the mark.
It's a good rebound right there.
And Noah Burnworth collected it. He's got Hitsfield right on him.
Be interesting to see what St. Vincent looks to attack here offensively and where they look to go.
St. Vincent can go on a run here. They can get right back in this game, and that can only help. Will Frazier.
It's an excellent find there, and just going to that opposite block. Great dump down.
That's 5 points, again, unofficially for Frazier, as Feast feeds it across, and Harris is fouled.
That's some good pick and roll action there, and again, he got fouled, but again, he put himself to where he caught that and got a good look. Got to hit these free throws.
So Weston Harris going to the free throw line to shoot 2. I don't know if you can see it from right here, but there's a familiar face that's just walked into the gym. That's Derek Heinen in the purple jacket, purple Leo jacket. He's the head coach of the Leo Lions boys basketball team. 0 for 2. All good work on the glass by Bryant. Harris up with it, too strong.
Yeah.
Oh, another good work there. Feast. And he got hacked from behind.
How about that?
Frazier called for the foul.
This is just one of those games you can't blink. If you are falling asleep or have a mental lapse, the other team is going to capitalize. So great awareness there.
And Feast able to capitalize on his first try. Two for 2.
Again, Norwell's free throws are really coming to benefit them.
Joseph Miller, who, as I have it, has 13 points in this ball game, feeds that one off to James Rondo. Noah Burnworth has 14. Oh, they just get it to Rondo. Rondo through the paint, the finger roll, pure.
That was a great attack, and that's a good example of sometimes when you gamble defensively on the perimeter, you leave that paint wide open.
Double team comes right at that coffin corner.
Good trap, causing them to panic a little bit.
Knocked in the air by Rondo, kept alive, and Feast fires. In and out. It was halfway down.
That sure was a good look, though. Wasn't able to go down. St. Vincent's pressure really almost caused that turnover for Norwell. I like that. I want to see them continue those traps.
Burnworth wanted to shoot it. Hitzfield got in his face,
Big
and
shot.
Burnworth hit it anyway.
Big shot Burnworth right there.
And there's the run that St. Vincent is on. Timeout Norwell. Well, just as we had mentioned earlier, if St. Vincent can go on a run, they can get back in this game, and it is starting. Here's that last shot by Burnworth. Hitzfield came out to guard him, but Burnworth with a great move to get himself free.
Yeah, and again, like all the good shooters in this game, he's very confident within his own shot, and you can tell there's no hesitation. Again, I say that meaning sometimes you'll see guys kind of hitch their shot, or they'll have a slight pause because they're not sure and they're not confident. That comes from getting reps up in the gym. So a lot of these shooters, I'm sure, have put lots of hours getting shots up. So it's fun to see.
And kind of danger time here for Norwell, too, because this lead that was once at 12 is now down to 4, and you've only got 2 timeouts, whereas St. Vincent has all 5 of theirs.
Absolutely, and that is a big advantage having those timeouts. But like we said, this is such a game of runs. It was just 9 points, and then now look at it. And again, 5 minutes is a long time, and with both teams being effective three-point shooting teams, these runs can happen quicker than versus a game where the three-point option's not as viable.
Now, that being said, I think that was kind of a needed timeout from Dylan Miller there just to get his guys in the right mindset and try to get them together to answer.
No question. It's a good timeout, and if you got them, use them. But sometimes we do see where the timeouts aren't used appropriately. That was a great call.
5 minutes, 12 seconds. And we're being told that Norwell wants to advance the ball off the timeout. Greg Mose, one of our officials, making that known to the folks here. Blake Feast with 8 points in this game so far. He gets a screen. Reinhardt has had some big hustle plays. Bryant's 3 won't fall. And the board pulled down by Miller. There goes Joseph Miller trying to take advantage of his quick motor. Instead, it's Burnworth on the attack. Oh, he got it. Tough angle.
Another good shot by Burnworth. And like you said, that's a tough angle.
19 points for Burnworth as he's engineering this comeback for the St. Vincent Panthers. Weston Harris finds his man. That's Bryant. Bryant will put it on the deck. So far, we haven't seen much from Dafor in this quarter. Feast will attack, and it's short.
I love that drive, though, by Feast. He wasn't able to connect, and there was good contest there, but he got downhill and beat his man to the spot.
And I think that was Frazier who was with him the whole way. Yeah. Burnworth again, and it's blocked. Feast knocks it away. That was for the lead.
Wow.
And Feast gets the basket, but it's not going to count. The foul was before the shot.
How about the balance, though, there of Feast as he was bumped? And still, even though it was after the play, was able to gather himself and get a shot up.
Braden McAfoose will check in. Rondo will take a breather. But what a big block. If that three had gone, St. Vincent takes the lead, but Feast with a great closeout. Catch and shoot. Dafford short. Battle for the board.
Man, they were using every bit of fingertips.
That's a foul. That's a foul on Bryant.
Oakley Moser checks in.
Oakley Bryant with the first team foul against Norwell here in this fourth quarter. And what a moment to have it happen, especially if you're St. Vincent. They can tie or take the lead with a three. Here's Frazier. Miller puts it on the deck, driving through. No, but he's fouled.
When you see his head go down, you know he's getting to the basket. And a lot of times, even though it's obvious, he does a good job of, whether you know it or not, of getting to that spot. It's just a matter of, are you willing to battle through him? Because if you beat him to the spot, he's going to find a way to make contact.
3:42 left in this fourth quarter. Oh, but the free throw struggles rear their ugly head again.
Yep. They have struggled from the free throw line in the second half. But if you're Norwell, you got to find a man and block out, because they've been doing a great job off the free throws, getting offensive boards.
Got the second one, so St. Vincent's is within one. And again, still a little danger time aspect for Norwell. This is the closest this game has been this half. Good attack, Feast. In and out. He drew the foul, but that was halfway down.
That's a move we see a lot of times these days, the football tuck. And he did a good job of tucking that ball as the contact was made and going up soft for the finish.
A little long on the free throw, so Norwell kind of getting bit by that free throw bug. 3:28 left to go. I said this is the closest this game has been this half. Almost forget, it was tied at halftime. So St. Vincent's still only down one. Here's Joe Miller. Burnworth into the paint. It was tipped and taken away by Reinhardt. That's a big stop for the Knights. Reinhardt through all kinds of traffic. Feast. Well contested, and he hit it anyway.
That's a big-time shot for Feast. He has been Mr. Reliable in every aspect of the game for Norwell. You can count on him.
That's 11 points for Blake Feast and a foul. That was on Reinhardt.
That was on Reinhardt, St. Vincent ball.
It will be St. Vincent ball as the Blackhawk Middle School team is looks like they're going to wait on the bleachers. Catch and shoot. It's good. Joseph Miller.
And same for St. Vincent. He has been huge for them in every way. Miller is active.
Good drive, and Moser puts it in. Big answer from the Knights.
A little slice and dice there. Just a simple move, but he got to the basket. I don't know if St. Vincent's expected him to get there.
Here's Miller. Miller turning in quite a performance. I've got him for 17 points. That was, I thought, blocked, and it goes over the basket. I thought Moser got a hand on that thing. Well, it goes as a stop for the Knights. They'll take it. And they needed it because St. Vincent has gotten this game as close to 1 point. Currently a 3-point game. There goes Feast on the attack, and he's fouled.
He is hammered hard.
He is not afraid to take on contact, is he?
No. But he's also aware that a lot of times those St. Vincent guys pursuing are going to leave their feet and are probably going to put themselves in a position to where he can get to the foul line. And when you know guys are closing out or coming at you aggressively, you can set them up pretty simply to get to the foul line.
At this stage of the game, one of the big keys is can you hit your free throws? Feast just got his first one. Got them both.
Second shot is good.
2 minutes to go. St. Vincent was down 12. They've gotten as close as 1 point down here in the fourth quarter. Little shot fake by Rondo. Left-hander is good.
Boy, you don't see enough guys even at the high school level use the shot fake, and he really used it and got downhill quick.
Here's Dafford. Quiet this quarter, but a good feed to the outside. Harris wants it. He's got it. Weston Harris.
He's another one that's kind of a sneaky shooter on that
Wide
team.
open. Frazier counted and a foul.
That's the second time when I see Coach getting upset off of a big shot, whether it was in the left or the right corner off of a three. They have failed to get back in transition on defense.
And Will Frazier, a chance to make it 3 and get it back to a one-score game. Down goes the shot for Frazier. And now St. Vincent wants a timeout. They want a full timeout. So with that, we'll take a full timeout right along with them here on this broadcast of the MVP Middle School March Madness Tournament on SummitCitySports.com.
Game day, the moment athletes live for, the intensity, the passion, the unforgettable plays. And while you focus on the game, Watermark Sports Photo captures the memories. From the heart-pounding action to the game-winning score, our game day photos make your athlete the star. But we don't stop at game day. With our Sportrait sessions, together we dream up poses and take your athlete's story to the next level. Serving Northeast Indiana and Northwest Ohio, from colleges to high schools and club sports, moments fade, but the memories last forever. Watermark Sports Photo, where every shot is legendary.
Back here at the MVP Middle School March Madness Tournament at the Boys and Girls Club. This replay is kind of 2 replays in one. First of all, a great find by Dafford, and then Harris with the 3. But what you'll see in the front of your screen here is Dylan Miller telling his guys to get back on defense. That's why.
And I don't care what level you're at, elementary to the pros. Any coach is going to be screaming to get back because the offensive game in today's basketball world has changed so much. And from the second that ball goes through the net on a make or the ball comes off the rim on a miss, teams are looking to get down. So you got to get back.
A 1-3-1 zone press. Norwell's able to get across the timeline. And Norwell can afford to be somewhat patient here.
Yes.
As Reinhard feeds that to the corner. Probably trying to make St. Vincent think about fouling, but they don't have to think about it anymore. That's traveling.
One thing, too, is like speaking about the going into transition offensively, both teams do a really good job of leading with the pass instead of trying to dribble it down in transition. Their lead-out passes are good and accurate.
St. Vincent doesn't have to go for the 3 here, but they get a shot. Put-back try is good.
And that has hurt Norwell all night, their inability off the shot to locate a body and block out, and St. Vincent's has taken advantage of that, and they are crashing hard for putbacks.
That was Will Frazier with the bucket. He's up to 10 points in this game. That's a full timeout, and again, we'll remind you that the MVP basketball program partners with the Boys and Girls Clubs of Fort Wayne to provide Fort Wayne's most unique and comprehensive basketball program. Now, this is another replay worth showing to you. I mentioned that St. Vincent didn't necessarily have to get a 3 on that last possession, but they got one, they got a look. And again, as you mentioned, Zach, the inability to box out from Norwell has hurt them in this game.
Well, a lot of times you get caught watching the flight of the ball, and as you start to look up, an aggressive player is going to go around you and recognize that you're staring at the ceiling or the ball, and then you lose that 2 seconds to get position, whereas on the flight of the ball, if you can locate a body, even if it's not your man, that ball can fall in front of you. And against a team like St. Vincent's who is aggressive, who is pursuing the glass hard, it doesn't matter. You got to find someone when that shot goes up and block them out. It sounds so simple, but it is something that has hurt Norwell all night. And they're a very well-coached team, so this isn't me trying to make the coach feel bad or act like he's not teaching that, because a lot of times they are. It's just a matter of in the game, kids do what they do.
Yeah, we see that at the high school level. We see it at the middle school level, too. 48.8 seconds left in this game. It is Norwell basketball. They've been up as many as 12. Right now their lead is only 1. Here's Reinhard. Got to find some help. He's double-teamed. That's Feast. Little bit long.
Oh,
Feast got
what
it
a
back,
board.
but he missed it.
And here they go.
That's
Off in
Miller.
transition.
Here
You gotta
he
get
comes.
back.
2-on-4. Knocked away. And that is out of bounds off of Norwell. Harris knocked it out. So a 25.4. It's a second chance for St. Vincent. Now, Miller, you could say, just saved a transition bucket
Yes, Harris, or was that Harris or Miller?
Oh, yeah, that was Harris. You're right.
He did
blocked.
Oh,
it's
how about
Harris
that?
again. And a timeout.
But that reach in the deflection or the stop could have been the difference between St. Vincent's getting a bucket, and then there he is active again. Great awareness.
Well, Dylan Miller wanted the timeout, but instead we have a foul called against St. Vincent. And now again, it's a question of can you sink your free throws? That's what Weston Harris is going for. It is 1-1. He got one, so he'll shoot one more. Yeah, the rule is there's no double bonus in MVP basketball. You got to make your free throws to win the game. Got them both.
That's been the difference in the game at the free throw line.
And now Dylan Miller wants his timeout. 30-second timeout. At least I think it was Coach Miller who called the timeout. Oh, nope. It was St. Vincent who called the timeout. Ike Drake telling us that each team has 2 timeouts left. So that was St. Vincent calling their third timeout. And I'll give credit to Shane Burnworth and this coaching staff. They haven't had to use their timeouts all too much. And now here we are with 21.9 seconds. They've still got 2 left.
Yeah, credit to St. Vincent's coaching staff. They get their guys to be very engaged defensively, on and off the ball. They play very hard. They take very good shots offensively, and they play, like I said, extremely physical. And sometimes that can cause fouls, but you know what? I'd rather have a team going down fouling if the intentions are good than a team that's soft and not attacking the glass or attacking the contest. So great job by St. Vincent's coaching staff, as well as Norwell's big fella. I'm not sure of Coach's name. What is his name? Coach Miller?
Coach Dylan Miller.
Coach Miller. Looks like he played in his day.
21.9 seconds left. It is going to be St. Vincent ball. Now, with this amount of time left, they don't necessarily need a 3.
No.
But a 3 does tie the game. Of course, if you go for the 2 and you get it, you may have to think about fouling.
This is
Frazier.
If you're Norwell, you got to talk all action. You got to let your teammates know what's going on so you can have a good opportunity to contest.
Burnworth's been dangerous. So has Miller. He's got the ball in his hands. Burnworth down the baseline. Only 3 seconds.
Oh, and
they just used a lot of time.
He thought he was going to get bailed out on a foul and shot that off balance. What a win for Norwell. That was a great battle by both teams, and I think it came down to free throws. What would you say?
I certainly think it did. It came down to free throws, and it also came down to some huge blocked shots.
For sure.
So the Norwell Knights are your winner over St. Vincent. And so Norwell will play in the Final Four against Memorial Park tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Now, we do still have a couple more orders of business because we got to recognize our MVP, or as it may be, MVPs. Be right back in just a second.
Game day, the moment athletes live for, the intensity, the passion, the unforgettable plays, and while you focus on the game, Watermark Sports Photo captures the memories. From the heart-pounding action to the game-winning score, our game day photos make your athlete the star. But we don't stop at game day. With our Sportrait sessions, together we dream up poses and take your athlete's story to the next level. Serving Northeast Indiana and Northwest Ohio, from colleges to high schools and club sports, moments fade, but the memories last.
With 20 points tonight, our most valuable player in game 1 is Mr. Dafford.
Wes Dafford, the MVP of our game between St. Vincent and Norwell, as the Norwell Knights are the winner. Wes Dafford finishes the game with 20 points. I'll have a little picture time with Mitch Sturm. Even Zach Welklin getting in on the picture, too. It was good shooting on the part of Wes Dafford. I think he had, must have been 5 threes in that ball game. but 20 points in all. What an incredible performance that West Daphorn just turned in route to a Norwell victory. So the Knights will celebrate this win for a short period of time because they got a quick turnaround. They got to play tomorrow night against Memorial Park, and what a game that could shape up to be. Meanwhile, for our next game, we're going to have Blackhawk Middle School, not to be confused with Blackhawk Christian, but Blackhawk Middle School of the Fort Wayne Community Schools District taking on the Leo Lions of the East Allen County Schools District. That game's going to start